What happens on Wednesday mornings? A look at the MCCSC professional learning community process. Everyone agrees on the importance of education, making sure our kids are prepared for the future and can compete in today's global economy. Bloomington and Monroe County have had a tradition of strong support for preschool through 12th grade education. Our residents know that quality education systems relate directly to the economic success of the community. This support has allowed the Monroe County Community School Corporation to provide up-to-date teaching resources, equipment, and new technologies, along with well-maintained buildings. But that's just part of the story to be a world-class learning community. Research confirms that the most important factor contributing to a student's success in school is having the best teacher possible in every classroom. We are fortunate to be able to hire quality teachers and know that, like many other professions, participation in professional learning is key and leads to increased student achievement. In 2011, the MCCSC chose to build time for professional learning and collaboration into the weekly schedule. Classes each Wednesday morning begin 45 minutes to an hour later, providing time for this work to take place. While it's true that the Wednesday morning collaboration time for teachers can cause disruption to family schedules, its benefits are far-reaching. The reality is, there is a direct correlation between the amount of time teachers spend collaborating and increased student achievement. The performance of our own students is testament to that fact. Also, research shows that this time is most effective when teams of teachers meet on a regular basis, working collaboratively and sharing knowledge about the needs of the students to ensure that all students learn at high levels. Using these collaborative teams as building blocks, the Monroe County Community School Corporation has made the commitment to building a professional learning community, or PLC. By operating as a PLC, our educators acknowledge that the fundamental purpose of our schools is to help all students achieve at high levels, and that we are willing to examine all of our practices in light of their impact on learning.
I like to have close communication with these teachers, and they come to me, I know from their sessions during professional learning communities on Wednesdays, they'll come to me and say, these are the things we've been working on. This is how we would like to move James around based on his needs. And the teachers at grade level and above grade level, they all work together to make sure that he gets placed where he needs to be.
It is important to have a guaranteed and viable curriculum so that it doesn't matter what school a student attends or what class they're in. The curriculum is the same across the board, and we want to make sure that all students can apply those skills that they are taught, and when they haven't, the teachers give them extra support where needed so that they are able to apply that skill.
The first step in setting student achievement goals is for teachers to determine what it is we want our students to learn. Not what I should be teaching, but what should all students be learning. Dawn Adams, high school government teacher, discusses how the high school social studies collaborative team uses their weekly Wednesday morning time to answer this question.
Today we were looking at the results of a formative test, or what we sometimes call a practice test, meaning it's not for a grade. It's something that gives us insight into what the students have learned up to a certain point in the unit. All the teachers on the team have covered the same material and taught to the same standard. We have then given the same test and been able to collate the data into a single place where we can look at it and we can compare, analyze the differences in our results. If we have found that some students or some classes have done better than others, we can try to understand why that is. If we find questions that the results were not good on, we can look into that, and we find all kinds of things. In some cases we find it was just a difficult question and we need to teach it a little bit more. In some cases we have found the question itself was poorly worded or the choices were confusing. The students understood the material, but we just didn't give them a fair way to express what they had learned. And so from there we can follow up and decide, do we need to reteach? Do we need to change a question? Do we need to run a special tutorial in which we bring in students for some extra help outside of class? And then hopefully we then lead to a good result on the final test, which does count for a grade.
The next critical question is, how will we know what each student has learned? Teachers work collaboratively to develop common formative assessments that will give them a measurement of what students know about the current unit of study. Paul Quinby, middle school teacher, shows how the English and Language Arts team uses the collaborative process to determine if students are learning.
Well, schools are a lot different now, even since I've been teaching for 9 or 10 years. And what we have to do during our PLC time on Wednesday morning is we really have to look at what kids know. So we'll take a quiz that they've done across the school, or we'll take a writing assignment that they've completed, and me and my colleagues will look at that information and we'll determine which kids really got it and understand it, and those kids are ready to move on. But if there's a student that is missing something or we feel needs a specific type of instruction, we'll identify those kids, figure out the best way to teach them those things that they're not learning, and then find the time throughout the school day to get them what they need to learn.
Data gathered from the assessment process is used to help teachers collaborate on critical questions. How do we respond when some students haven't learned? How can we create opportunities for students who have demonstrated that they know the material? A collaborative team of third grade teachers explore these questions along with their literacy coach, Gina Stancombe.
Teachers take the results from the Common Formative Assessments, or CFAs, and that drives our instruction. So it shows us when a student has mastered a skill or is at a level of proficiency or not. Those students who need extra support, we put them in a group and give them that support in the classroom. And then students who are near mastery or near proficiency, they're put in another group so that they continue to practice that skill. Those students who can demonstrate that they know the material, we put them in a group and they work with a teacher or preventionist to enrich or enhance that skill.
My teacher, whenever I need help, I raise my hand and I ask her to help me, and then she helps me step by step. And then usually if she has to do something, she gets a friend from our class and that's good at it and tries to help us to see if that can make us better.
Tutorial provides a great opportunity for students to address their own individual needs and goals, and provides the flexibility for each student to do that. For me, tutorials provided the opportunity for me to serve as a leader in the newly implemented life skills program, which has allowed us to help a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, and we use this tutorial period to meet every week. For other students, tutorial may represent a time to study or to complete makeup work or to just receive additional one-on-one time with an instructor. And it's this flexibility that has made tutorial so effective a system for both teachers and students.
The collaboration process takes a lot of time, and it's great that we have that time to get together with other teachers and talk about things that are important. If you ask any teacher, either here in our building or in the corporation or anywhere across America, they would say that they need to have that time to collaborate. And collaboration is the key for student achievement.
On our poster on our wall, it says, "Leaders ask for help and help gets you towards your goal." And that poster really represents what you're supposed to do in every school.
I think in the past we didn't always take time to reteach the skill because we felt like we had so much to cover. So we would say, oh, well, you didn't get this and here's why, but we would just continue on. Now we just make sure students do not slip through the cracks.
The thing that I've been most impressed with is that this is fluid. It's not as if they came to me at the beginning of the year and said, this is where we're going to put him. It's been an ongoing change based on how he's grown and his needs, so that he's never sitting repeating. He's constantly growing. He's constantly moving on to the next thing that he's ready to learn here at school.
We have really worked hard to intentionally and intensively focus on student learning, and we have taken a very careful and analytical look at our formative assessments, which have then allowed us to create the situations where our students have been very successful on their summative assessments and reaching their learning goals.
The professional learning community is the new norm of Monroe County Community Schools. Working collaboratively on Wednesday mornings and throughout the day supports all students learning at high levels.